Hello, everyone. We are back and we're talking about news. We're talking about the news and views of what's been going on with us. We are here now again with Francis, with Gerard, with Paulo, and with Chris. And we're going to be talking today about the things that have happened. The biggest deal that we were faced with this week was the collapse of a portion of the highway that they were building. Who can talk about that? Paulo, you're up.
So the construction of the Skyway, there's been an accident. So a crane was imbalanced and it hit one of the gridders in the Skyway, and the gridder fell on multiple cars and motorcycles. So there were a lot of injuries, and someone died because of it. Yeah. Someone who's been riding a motorcycle. He's actually, from what I read, he's actually a safety officer in BGC. So, but since then, San Miguel has released a statement along with Ramon Ang.
Apologizing,
Yeah. So there's been a lot of videos coming out actually the past 2 days. Like people who had dash cams, motorcycles who had cameras, and you can really see how it fell. I saw the Mitsubishi Adventure. It was right in front of the motorcycle recording, and the whole right side of the Adventure was just gone.
Well, they're building. For those that don't understand this, they're building a huge system of highways now, and we discussed that how to get through it the last time we did this. But yeah, the positive thing on that was that the the overall company, which was Ramon Ang, or RSA as everybody knows him, stood up, made a statement and apologized, which is not exactly something we normally see. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what else is going on?
Yeah.
Sorry, go
anyway,
ahead. Go ahead.
For the completion, it was supposed to be completed by December this year, but because of this incident, they're pushing it back to February 2021. The opening of the Skyway. Yeah.
2 months.
They stopped construction. They ordered the work stopped.
Yeah, they had to
for that area.
I
heard on the news today. So
Aside from that, so we have the Geely Okavango that was launched last week, Thursday. It's a
for that
it's quite interesting, though. Like for the price of the car, it's really a bargain. But like when I looked at it for the first time, I wasn't sure if it was an SUV or like an MPV, or maybe it's its own thing. But it's a 7-seater.
I think we had a discussion with them on that before they launched it, and it was interesting because they had it compared with both larger truck-based SUVs.
It's mid-size SUVs supposedly.
But also with things like the Innova. So and then they were very clear when they came out that this isn't exactly one or the other. It's kind of in the middle. And it kind of leads us to think: are we just pegging these cars too much to fit a particular mold, or are they just kind of their own thing? Just like crossovers, right? Crossovers didn't exist before. SUVs didn't exist before; they were just trucks, or Range Rovers, or Jeep Wagoneers, or something like that. So, okay, that was a launch. There was a launch of the Lexus IS, which Paulo did. Tell us about that, Paulo. He's on the spot.
Today. So Lexus Manila launched the IS 300H. That's the hybrid one, and then the IS 350 F Sport. Carl was talking to me about it because it was my first time to drive an IS. The only Lexus I've ever driven was the RX, I think, about a year and a half ago. So it's a bit of a different breed, right? So it was quite an experience because what I like about Lexus is that they're able to integrate some of the luxury and elegant features you see in the typical German luxury brands like the BMWs and the Mercedes-Benzes, but you have this sporty vibe that in a sedan. Like at first, Carl was saying it's just their marketing term, but so I was trying to think of a different way to describe it. But I think that's really the best way to describe the IS. Like I really had 10 minutes for each car, but it was an interesting drive around BGC.
Yeah. Well, this wasn't our main thing. This is just a quick look into the car itself. And just to clarify, when I say it's a marketing thing, that I don't mean that it's a lie. I just mean that this is how they define it. So we should not merely copy their words, but come up with our own. That's what I meant in terms of that. And I was trying to because Paulo and I have been in meetings where you can clearly see they're just following the company line, and it's just not. It's not what we want to do.
I remember.
But in this case, like you said, this is a sports sedan. I said, no, this kind of defines sports sedan for that market. The sports sedans were what defined sports sedan at the time was the BMWs, basically. Just like what defined the hot hatches were kind of the European Renaults, Golfs,
GTI,
and so on. So there.
So the F Sport has a 3.5 liter V6. It makes 315 horsepower and 380 newton meters of torque. For the 300h hybrid, it has a 2.5 liter engine with 181 horsepower with an electric motor. So.
Well, what I think is important there is that they're two models. They're doing two models, and one is the F-Sport and the other is the hybrid. So there is nothing else there for this market, which means that it's either it's an interesting way to go. I drove the hybrid and I really liked it. I didn't feel it wanting for power, but I'm sure that would change once I got into the F-Sport. So there, but I like both of them, and I think I've always liked the ISs. I think they're this great little car that just does everything. So, there. What other news have we got, Chris?
Well, good news for guys who haven't had their RFID stickers installed yet. Apparently, when you drive through a toll booth with RFID, you're not going to get penalized for it. Instead, they will just stick the RFID on your car right there and then, according to the DOTR. So that should ease worries and ease panic a bit for people who are rushing to meet a deadline. So now they'll just stick it on you as you enter, which I'm not sure how that's gonna play out. Because that's a logistics nightmare, I'm sure. But I mean, given the circumstances, it's better than just penalizing every single person that comes in with an RFID sticker, and there will be a lot. There will be a lot still.
Yeah, well, by nature you will. I mean, if all of a sudden you can't use a road network, you're just not ready for it. No, that's actually really interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was saying that the system. He's in Australia. He just emigrated, and the system they have there is that you don't really set up tags. What you're doing, or they do is you register your car, and you either like prepay it or whatever, or if you drive through, they're not going to stop you. They're just going to bill you. So I mean that makes sense too. That's a whole other system.
But they'd have to scan your car to do that.
Well, they do, but it's scanned by. In this case, I don't know if it has an RFID system. It might well be scanning plates. You're just registering your car, and apparently that's the system for driver's license as well. Everything's kind of an app on your phone type thing. So it's just a different approach. I fully support the whole idea that we should have RFIDs in the cars or some similar system. It just will save so much time. Yeah.
Well,
that's very cool, Chris. Thanks for bringing that up.
Like any transition phase, it's gonna get ugly before it gets nice. So, but at least it's not as stressful as it was.
That's good.
Yeah.
Gerard.
Well, last week there were quite a few global launches. I know we already tackled this the other week, but I guess you've seen the new Civic prototype which came out.
Yeah.
And the new BRZ.
The BRZ.
Yeah, the new BRZ. From their designs, they're a bit more evolutionary than a radical change. It's basically they stick to the formula that they had before. which is, especially the BRZ affordable sports car, which, a bit more horsepower, but they say that it's a bit more balanced now and still a lot of fun. So they say. It's going to be from 205, it now has 228 horsepower.
Mhm.
And then, of course, it still comes with either a manual or an automatic. And rear-wheel drive still, and non-turbo boxer engine. So, but it'll be out in the market by next year, fourth quarter of next year. So basically a year back. And with that, we're gonna wait for Toyota's 86
Yeah.
to come out as well. So, because those two are twins, so should be interesting.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
And Francis actually gave us the best news, which I would like him to repeat because this is the news section. Francis, how is the industry going on the tuner side?
Yes. Since I live within the Banawe area, I'm glad to report that, like what it was like before the pandemic is now back to normal. Whether it's the car accessory side or the spare parts surplus side, things are back to normal. It's business as usual with safety protocols, of course, with the plastic barriers and stuff. So business is doing great. The car enthusiasts are also back at it again. And even for the non-car enthusiasts with the entry-level reflash and the wheel upgrades and the steer upgrades, they're back. So there.
All right,
The
that's
industry is
cool.
doing well.
Okay, that's good. Okay, well, that was just a quick bite we had of the news that we've been talking about, what we're talking about in our chats, not in our office because we're not meeting up so much. But we're trying to bring you what we think is important. Some of it's concerning, such as the dropping of the girder from the Skyway. Some of it is uplifting, such as Francis's comment on the fact that the industry seems to be doing well. Some of it is welcome, like what Chris said about the RFID system becoming a bit more smooth. And then, as always, we are excited to hear that, like Francis said, like G said, we're going to have new 86s and
BRZ.
Subaru.
Civic.
BRZ. Haha. Okay, so there. And the Civic, right. Okay, well, thank you very, very much for joining us on this little snippet of news from our end of the world. Thank you very much. Again, this has been Francis. This has been G. This has been Chris, and this has been Paulo. This is what happens when I take your names off the screen like I'm told to. Okay, I'm Carl. Thank you very, very much, everyone. Stay safe, stay kind. Maintain your cars well, please. Thank you.